Welcome to the Bluestocking Circle podcast, Lady Nerds on Popular Culture. We're your hosts, Ashley,
B, and Gricel.
This is Minisode 17.5, Feedback, Favorites, and First Impressions. Our first follow-up is going to be the results of our best heroine poll that we ran over the break because we could not decide on a heroine for our best heroine award for the Sockies. And who won? I don't want to say it because I don't want to sound like I'm gloating, so I want someone else to say it.
It will be announced now that Leia won, but I should like to note that I voted for Sabriel to recover a lost vote when the poll was reposted. So to that original Sabriel voter, I salute you and honor you.
And that poll was reposted because Twitter has not yet provided an edit function.
This is true.
There was no tampering behind the scenes. There was just trying to correct a misspelling.
There was Gricel who was good at typos.
I mean, I think we would have been good with anyone who won. I mean, I'm glad Leia won, but I also would have been glad if the other two won because they're all really, really good. And actually, I had a whole conversation about which one was best with my boyfriend while we were driving back from our vacation. And we had the same thing. We were like, oh, but you can make a really strong case for all of them.
Did he know who Sabriel was?
Because he listens to the podcast. So he's not read it.
So he's a convert.
He is a convert. And then I have a personal follow-up. Over break, I saw Paddington 2.
But not Paddington 1.
No, because the family that I was with, they had all seen the first one. They had not seen the second one. And actually, I did remember, we weren't talking about it, I did manage to catch the last 20 minutes of the first one at some point. Because I remembered seeing Nicole Kidman as the villain. And I figured, okay, I know enough to go on with it. It was so cute. Paddington was so little and he had big eyes, and then when he was in the jail and then they were all like, it's happy because he was making all the desserts.
Yes, Paddington 2 is a prison movie, Gricel. I saw your surprised expression.
Sorry.
I was like, what?
Sorry, spoilers. There is a little part where Paddington, it's not his fault, he just gets tied up in something, he gets misidentified. As a lawyer, I can just say that would not have flown in American courts. There was no real evidence. Clearly, because I was like, what is this miscarriage of justice? I'm going to sue the court for improper sentencing. But it was very cute, and I agree that Hugh Jackman is a treasure.
Hugh Jackman is a treasure.
No.
But he's not in this movie.
Correct. I agree that Hugh Grant.
Because I was like, what? Now I'm really confused.
As soon as I said it, I was like, no, wait a minute. The wrong Hugh. Hugh Grant is a treasure in the movies. Like, I wanted to get mad at his character because his character is not very nice, but I couldn't because he was so ridiculous.
I also have a follow-up from our winter recommendations. I read Mockingbird, Gricel.
What did you think?
It was wonderful, and I also went that TV show right now.
Yay!
It was the peak of female gaze, mind you.
Oh, yes, it is. It totally is. That's how it starts and that's how it ends.
And the thing is that the volume I had, it had the new Mockingbird and it had an old Avengers issue at the end.
Yes, they have the source material, which leaves a lot to be desired. So I really love what they did with that character to modernize it and change it up.
Absolutely. It's the perfect case study of the female versus male gaze. In the Avengers issue, she's in a hospital bed in a coma, not doing anything at all. Whereas in her particular issues, she's active, she's a spy, she's a scientist, she's the heroine, she's doing everything anyone could ever want to do.
Did yours have the little paper dolls at the end?
Of course.
Yes, so cute.
I'm sad to hear that it ended.
It did, and it was only a 2-volume set, but I will cherish those 2 volumes.
Is there hope for more volumes? Or just, no, it's pretty definitive that they're going to end it here for now?
I think it's just been ended here for now. I haven't seen the writer mention it being rebooted, but if Marvel would like to reboot it, I am definitely going to be there.
And so will I.
I'm going to get on the bandwagon too, I promise. Especially because that sounds really interesting, the comparison of the modern versus the original on the back. I didn't hear about that the first time we talked about it.
I reread it over the holidays, and as I was reading it, I just kept thinking, I really hope Bea reads this and enjoys this, because I think she'll like this, but I hope she really does, and I hope I'm not making myself really excited and she's going to hate it. Oh my god.
No, excellent recommendation. Okay. There were mermaid corgis, Ashley.
There were mermaid corgis.
Yes, exactly what you're picturing right now.
I'm so confused and yet intrigued. Like this.
I think Ashley will be the real test.
Yes.
I'll add it too. I'll visit my library and add it to my list.
I have another follow-up. In our last minisode, we talked about our favorites of 2018, and I would like to amend my statement because something happened at the very, very end of 2018 that I think would have me replace my top 3 picks for the year.
That's a lot.
It is that good. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Which was an excellent movie, and the minute I saw it, I had to recommend it to Bea. I totally love this movie, and I wholeheartedly agree, but for you to replace your top 3s, wow.
It wouldn't make your top 3 of the year?
It would make one of my top 3.
It would make my top 3 of every year. I think it really was that good. You know that I'm a huge fan of the original Spider-Man movies by Raimi.
We do know. We know at length.
I went from not knowing this existed in a month to hearing it was better than Spider-Man 2, which I thought was blasphemy, to learning about Spider-Ham and Peter Porker.
Well, I never tried to make the case that it was better than Spider-Man 2, because I knew you would cut me if I tried to say that. But it did reference the Spider-Man movies, so I knew that there was a possibility you might enjoy it.
It was so good, and this movie brought back all my nostalgia for those years, but it added a new story, it extended it, it respected the legacy of those movies while contributing something brand new that I had never seen before. Those visuals, Gricel.
They were really good. They're really stunning.
The movie just goes into complete abstract art by the end of it. We have, I don't think, ever seen anything like it.
No. Yeah, I don't think there's any real comparison. Yeah, and then the references to just like the graffiti and Banksy and like all the different things that it pulls on I thought was really interesting.
No one's talking about it, but this is the first superhero movie with an Afro-Latino protagonist. It's the first superhero movie where I've ever heard Spanish spoken.
That's true. I can't think of any other hero, really, that speaks Spanish. I know that there are heroes in the universe that speak Spanish, but nope, nobody's on film.
And the music.
And the music. Top-notch music. I have listened to this playlist a few times now.
I went home and I immediately downloaded both the score and the soundtrack. A month ago, I thought Post Malone was a stop on the Oregon Trail, and now I hear Sunflower on a daily basis.
It's such a good song.
So this movie was not just something brand new that I had never seen before in terms of the protagonist, but also in terms of the visual style and the music. This movie looked beautiful.
Yeah, it's like falling into some sort of very trippy, psychedelic, like lava lamp type scene.
That's a great description for it.
But also very comic booky, and it pulls on source material in a really creative way. Visually, it's beautiful.
There's a lot of Oscar talk for this movie. It just won the Golden Globe for Best Animated Feature as we're recording this. I think it's going to win the Oscar for Animated Feature, and you know that I liked Incredibles 2 a lot. But Incredibles 2, though expertly done, was more of the same style. This is a brand new style. I don't think there's ever been a movie like this, and I really hope it gets all the Oscars, including Best Documentary. It's that good.
I'm hanging my head in shame because I cannot contribute to this conversation because I have not yet seen it. Although literally everyone that I know who has seen it has told me the exact same things that you guys are saying, that it's amazing, that it's incredible, that it's fantastic, that it's literally every single positive superlative in the book. That's what's being used to describe this. No one has had even an ambivalent reaction to it, let alone a negative reaction. Everyone loves it. Like strangers on the street, they're like, yeah, Into the Spider-Verse is great. Everyone who I've talked to about it just raves about it.
I saw someone online say that those of us who had seen it were basically in a cult now, and we're just knocking on random strangers' doors, asking, have you seen Into the Spider-Verse yet? And it's true.
Have you heard the good word?
I know I want to, and that's very true, because I feel like I've had conversations with people who I do not know about this, like in the lobby of movie theaters or like at the bookstore talking about what they're watching. They were like, yeah, Into the Spider-Verse. And I was like, okay, universe, I get it. I have to watch this movie.
And you have to watch it on the big screen.
I've heard that's part of like the experience of seeing it all over.
And I saw it in 3D, and it's worth the like extra $5 or whatever it costs to see it.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I can believe that. I can believe that this type of movie you want to pay the extra for it. I've heard all these things. I'm taking it into account. I will get to watch it. I promise. I am also excited to watch it too because I've never been a big Spider-Man fan. It's never really been my superhero. Although baby Peter Parker, Tom Holland is adorable.
He is adorable.
I like him. I really enjoyed Spider-Man Homecoming. So,
which I haven't seen.
Oh, that's really good.
It's really good.
I got tired of Spider-Man back in whenever the first Amazing Spider-Man movie came out. I was so sick of the character because of all these reboots and retellings over the years. And this movie brought all my love back. That's how good it is.
I never saw the Andrew Garfield's The Amazing Spider-Man, I guess. Okay, I feel like I'm not missing anything. This is good validation for me. But I heard good things about Spider-Man Homecoming, and I was like, you know what? I like Tom Holland. I've seen him in other things. That one was really good. So even that being said, I've never been a big Spider-Man person, but this one actually makes me excited to go see it because of all the positive feedback it's getting. So I will watch it, I promise. I will say my favorite superhero movie that I saw over break was Aquaman.
It was good.
It was so much fun. It's not going to win any Oscars.
No.
I have to give a disclaimer. We went to go see it, and we all had, for the 10 of us that were watching it, we had 2 bottles of Prosecco that we were drinking while watching it. And I think that was the perfect way to see it because you just had to be in that kind of very loose, I'm going to enjoy whatever comes across my screen. Jason Momoa is very easy on the eyes. The look is great. Like, I really want to go visit Atlantis.
I was really impressed that they managed to pull that off without making it look extremely cheesy.
Yes, that
this
is
could
true.
have been Ultimate Cheese Fest.
And it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It was really
which
well
was
done.
surprising. My expectations were low.
I think mine were too. I just wanted to have like a summer blockbuster flick in December. I will say I'm very pleased with the fact that all the Atlantean water land people, when they were underwater, their hair looked amazing. And when they were out of water, their hair looked horrible. I'm like, yes, this is realistic.
That's true.
You know, Ariel gave me very bad expectations of how you're in the water and then you get out and your hair still has that beautiful flowing. That's not what happens in real life.
Dry.
No, none of them had that Mira's hair look straggly when she came out of the ocean. I was like, yes, this is very accurate. So I really enjoyed Aquaman. And I have to say, I did not actually recognize Julie Andrews' cameo until afterwards.
I am still so confused because I had no idea until afterwards. And I was like, Julie Andrews was in this?
She chose the right movie.
Who was she?
The Kraken.
Okay.
Yes, she was the one that was guarding the
That
trident.
makes more sense because I was like, it has to be a voice. It can't possibly be a real cameo.
So I actually think it was a very fun movie. I would recommend people go see it. Don't have to spend the extra money on IMAX or 3D for it.
No, I don't think you need the
But
extra
if
cash
you
for this
want, you know, a couple of hours of just laid back, fun, ridiculous, let me look at pretty people and pretty things swimming across the screen.
And I think that's just the best thing that we can say about this movie. It's fun.
It's fun.
You watch this and you come out feeling good.
Yeah.
You don't come out depressed.
No, at all.
The world is a horrible place, but you had a good 2 hours.
You had a good 2 hours.
It's about to cross the $1 billion threshold in the box office, so I think most of the world agrees with you too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go see this movie.
I really think you have to. And speaking of favorites, let us then take this opportunity to segue into our favorite segment. January, as we all know, is the time of New Year's resolutions. So in that spirit, I want to know, what are your favorite book to read resolutions of 2019?
So my first one is a cheat. Because I started reading it prior to this recording, but I would keep it anyhow. And that is Crazy Rich Asians. I've been meaning to read this book since it came out in 2013. And it has always been on my to-be-read list for the library. But it's always checked out, or there's another book I need to read first, or, you know, whatever happens, and I end up reading something else. So this year, I finally decided I was going to do it. I snagged a copy and started the year right. My other resolution is to read the first book in Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn series. Brandon Sanderson is one of those writers that I follow but have never read, which is very embarrassing. And I mean to change that in 2019.
Mistborn is really good, and if you like Brandon Sanderson, I would recommend Elantris. It's a standalone, and it's very consumable. His Stormlight archive is amazing, but each book is literally 1,000 pages.
Yeah.
And he only has
he's
two
very
done.
prolific.
Yes.
It's embarrassing to me because I follow him for writing advice, but have never read any of his writing.
I think you like it. Mistborn is really, really good. I have this thing where I like to try and read books on my shelf that I've had, and I've just not gotten around to reading. So this year, I'm going to read The Art of Eating by M.F.K. Fisher. I bought this book years ago, and it's sadly still sitting on my shelf, and that's my first resolution. I'm also excited to finally read The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I pre-ordered this back in August. It has been lauded by people such as Laini Taylor, who is one of my favorite authors. Everyone seems to love it. I'm very excited, and it also has dragons. So my resolution is to read it and hopefully to love it.
My reading resolution is more general than either of yours, and it's to read whatever you two ask me to read for this podcast, with a caveat that I will keep an open mind. I've noticed how often I say I don't like romance or I don't like space operas and other such sweeping statements in these episodes, and that influences how I approach the books. So I am going to strive to stop these generalizations and instead approach each book as its own thing, regardless of my previous history with a genre. The same applies for movies and TV shows that you guys are going to make me watch, which is fortunate for your next pick, Gricel.
That's very mature of you.
Gotta be mature sometimes. Good news, everyone! Next time we will be traveling 1,000 years in the future to New York. Our next episode will focus on Futurama, the 1999 and 2008 and 2010 animated science fiction series created by Matt Groening. Fun fact, this was my very first pick all the way back when we started this podcast, but then Ashley picked Firefly, and that was way too similar. And then the next time, Ashley picked The Secret of NIMH, and we didn't want to have two animated works in a row, and then went with one thing and another. It's been 1.5 years since I decided to do an episode about Futurama, but finally, here we are. Yay!
I'm sorry.
It's a good thing because I think you'll like it. This is your kind of story. We shall see, though. I'm the only Futurama fangirl here who has seen all the episodes multiple times, with and without the also amazing commentaries. But Gricel, you've seen the first few seasons, right?
I saw it on and off across its various seasons.
Did you watch the original run, the revival run, or both?
The original run and then bits of the revival.
That makes you our newbie, Ashley. So tell us, what do you know about Futurama?
I know two things. I know that there is a robot called Bender.
Yes.
And he's not evil. He's like
Amoral.
Yeah. Kind of like a chaotic, just bad but funny character.
Chaotic neutral?
Chaotic neutral?
More like chaotic evil.
Chaotic evil, okay. I knew there was something he was not like someone you would take to church or something. I don't know how I picked up on that, but okay, so I know that. And I know one other thing, which is that there's an episode with the dog, and the dog apparently, I guess I'm thinking about the dog, like, waits for his master who's died or time traveled or something. And the dog waits there forever, and of course they show, like, the dog in the rain, the dog gets old, and the dog dies. And you're gonna make me watch this episode.
I am gonna make you watch the episode. And you just spoiled it for all our listeners. Sorry, but it's been 16 years. One thing I will say, you know how I didn't cry with Coco?
You cried with this?
I sobbed.
No.
I was admittedly much younger, and my heart was not yet frozen, but I didn't just cry. I wept in my living room watching that.
So if I cried really badly with Coco and you didn't, but you cried for Futurama, what you're saying is that I'm gonna need to, like, invest in Kleenex stock.
Hydrate. Hydrate before that episode. Did you watch that one, Gricel?
I don't remember this one, but that reminds me of a story about a Japanese dog, so...
It's based on that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh no, I know that story. I'm so looking forward to this, listeners. You have no idea.
I promise this is a comedy.
It is. It really is.
Although that episode is going to destroy you. Futurama is a show that literally spans millennia and multiple universes, but somehow managed to pick just a dozen episodes for discussion. These episodes are, grab your paper and pencil, the first 2 episodes of the series, Space Pilot 3000 and the Series Has Landed, plus Parasites Lost, The Day the Earth Stood Stupid, Jurassic Bark, and that's the dog one, The Sting, The Devil's Hands Are Idle Playthings, which was the first series finale, The Late Philip J. Fry, A Farewell to Arms, Fun on a Bun, Murder on the Planet Express, and Meanwhile, which is the current series finale, although I live in eternal hope Futurama will come back again. We will list the episodes in the show notes. These episodes are connected in that they focus on my favorite character, Frozen Delivery Boy Fry, and his relationship with Space Captain Leela. They have recurring themes and musical instruments, and I promise that will make sense. And most importantly, they are among my favorites in the series. I also chose them since they are a good representation of both the original and the revival runs, and they don't spoil too much of the Futurama myth arc, and yes, there is a Futurama myth arc, in case that you end up loving the show as much as I do and decide to go back to watch the whole series in order. I'm 40% Futurama, so I really hope you enjoy the series, but if you don't, that's okay, except you should know your taste in TV is bad and you should feel bad. So don't forget to grab a can of Sturm and a bucket of Poplars and tune in next time as we talk about Futurama. Episode 18, Futurama, will be released on February 1st. In the meantime, you can find us at thebluestockingcircle.com and on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Pinterest, and pretty much everywhere at Blue Sock Circle. That's Blue, S-O-X, Circle. Email us at thebluestockingcircle@gmail.com to join the conversation. We're also available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify, so please rate, review, and subscribe to help us grow.
Cheers!
That is my favorite news story from all of 2018. Julie Andrews chooses Aquaman over Mary Poppins Returns.
I told everyone that I was with about that story, and I was like, she's super salty, this is amazing. And they were all like, wow, that's great. Because we saw both movies over break. And afterwards they were like, oh, yeah, okay, I understand.